There's something extraordinarily comforting about hanging around 200 physicians that care so much. So if anything happens here, I know I will be saved. This is from 2007, a slide on the impacts of climate change. You've heard a lot about them today, and I'm not going to go into them. And then the big thing, of course, is the health impacts. This is a graphic from the Lancet report, the Lancet Commission report. If you have not gotten the Lancet Commission report from May, I think it was, you really have to get that report and take a look at it. It's got some of the best graphics I've ever seen. But the reason climate change affects everything, but the reason why we're here is because it affects health and because we can do something about it. There are 4 big conclusions from the Lancet report, and Catherine had them in hers, but it talks about unacceptably high risk of catastrophic risk, reverse all the benefits of health has gained from economic development, and the co-benefits alone that accrue from actions for a sustainable economy can be enough to make health the greatest opportunity of the century. The biggest thing, the most important thing is the third comment here, is that it is not an economic issue. It is not a technical issue anymore. It's a political issue, and we have to get past that gap, as in the last session, and you guys play a big role. This is one more graphic from the Lancet report. This has, on the left side, all of the different things that you do to mitigate global warming, and on the right side, it has all the health co-benefits. I can't talk about it more, but there is a lot going on in the health sector in climate change. Any major large health association right now, the state EPAs, the federal EPA, there is tons of information on there. It's not a matter of learning more, it's a matter of taking what we know and putting it to action. And the biggest issue we have, and this comes from Ed's stuff, and Ed can't see it, but this is from his 6 Americas work last year, where they asked a question, and only 3% of Americans say that they talk about climate change often. 74% say they talk about it rarely or not at all. There's a variety of reasons for that, of course. You can't see the changes in the chemistry of the ocean. You cannot see the change in temperature. It's hard to grasp. On the upper right there, 11 of the 15 largest corporations in the world extract stuff out of the ground, which we burn and screw up our oceans and our atmosphere, and they're not going away quietly. Then, of course, on the lower left, it's a huge political divide, which some people think is our biggest challenge. But then there's also, and we talk about the mental health challenges of climate change a bunch here, there are also a whole host of reasons why people just don't want to think about and deal with climate change. I sometimes wonder if we're all here because we're a certain personality type. What's the chicken and the egg, that we care about climate change, or we already are the kind of people that really address social issues as opposed to some people who don't. But we have to get past all these things. And then the question I think that many of us face in mental health aspects of climate change is, can we solve this problem anymore? I know a lot of people have checked out and said, hey, if the temperature of the planet goes up 4 degrees Celsius, half of the fresh water in the world disappears. And little things like that are going to cause massive dislocations. And to stay below 2 degrees and keep things pretty much recognizable to the way we are right now, we've got to be down at that blue line at the bottom. And we still can do that. It's going to require peaking our emissions within 15 years, and then within 30 years after that, we're going to have to, we have to be able to take carbon out of the atmosphere right now. Otherwise, we're going to get unacceptably high increases in temperature. But every day that we can accelerate the process, we're going to be better off. And people say it can't be done. All the big tech companies are climate neutral. Over 700 colleges and universities have committed not to 20% reductions or 50% or 80%. They're going climate neutral. Right now, about 70% of all the utility scale electricity that's being built in the world is renewable energy. And we've talked about that, Catherine did, and then we also talked a little bit about the divest invest movement. I think probably shouldn't say this, but they're going to announce in the next week or two that the divest movement has raised over $1 trillion of money, has been already committed to divest from fossil fuels. So, applause doesn't come from my time. No. But the big thing is, how do we change climate change from being a special interest enviro issue where a bunch of concerned people get together and talk about it into a personally relevant public issue? That is the key challenge. It has to matter to everybody. And there's a few things that need to happen. We need to have leadership. We need to have leaders like you in this room. We have to, when you go back to your hospital, school, church, you have to tell the people that are in charge that they need to step forward and lead, because when trusted leaders lead, that gives permission for their followers to follow. We have to collaborate together on common principles. Up here is the statement of common purpose of Healthcare for America Now, which passed our climate bill, and then the Alliance for Citizenship, which is working on immigration. We have something called a Path to Positive, which is a set of principles that you can hold up and say, hey, we need to do something about climate change for these reasons, and this is what we will do and how we do it. On the Climate for Health website, you can find these things. Collective impact. If some public health associations are doing something, some aren't, and some are doing little and some are doing a lot, and they're all different programs, it confuses people. So to the extent that we can, like the health sector is doing a great job of doing, to the extent that we can collaborate and present a unified front on health to the American public, it will make a big difference. One of the biggest things is what we call a master narrative here. Gay rights is about them, and they have a right to raise their hand, fist in the air, and be angry about it. But most people think then it's about them and it's their issue. But when they change it to something about, everyone has a right to a family, everyone has a right to marry the person that they love. My sister is gay. Okay, they're making it a personally relevant public issue. And that's happened with tobacco. The health sector has done it with tobacco already. Children for a Tobacco-Free America is a spectacular example. And it's happened with healthcare. We used to call it universal healthcare. That's one of the worst branding things I've ever heard in my life. And when you get it right, it becomes a social meme. This is a bill that was introduced by Chris Van Hollen last year. Who associates the word healthy and family with climate? All of us should, all the time. The other thing that we need to do is we need to build our own capacity here. I'm doing really good. No, build our own capacity here. We need to learn, each of you, and that's what the rest of this session is about, is telling you how to talk about climate change from a process and a content perspective. These guys are going to give you some great tips. But on the Climate for Health website, there are talking points, rationale. There's the second part of the site is making an impact. If you're in your clinic or your hospital, you want to make an impact, you can go here and just get a checklist of things to do. If you want to engage others, put it in your HR manual, put together a climate team in your institution. There's resources for doing that. And there's a variety of things for a daily blog on climate and health that brings together a news feed and a lot of other stuff so you can stay in touch with working on climate from this program. We also have in the back of the room on the table over there a variety of research reports that we provide for the health sector. We partnered with HEFN, the Health and Environmental Funders Network, to talk about how to get funding for your efforts. There's a guide for that. We've done some leadership community and partnered with the American Psychological Association on Beyond Storms and Droughts, refining and synthesizing and putting the mental health aspects into a climate perspective. So I just want to thank you for your time. Lisa Van Susteren was up here and talked about the Moral March on the Mall on Thursday. If you're around on Thursday evening, there's a climate event at the National Cathedral, and the next day there's a leadership conference which you would be welcome to attend at the National Cathedral as well, where people will be talking about the faith aspects of climate change. I'm done. Thank you.